Hello everybody, welcome to this just quick reaction video to the result where Newcastle have beaten Crystal Palace tonight. I'm not going to say the scoreline because I'm actually recording this where there's about 5 minutes left of the game, and I mean including stoppage time as well. The last time I checked it was the 89th minute. It was still 5-0. I really don't know how to feel about this specific double game week. If someone had told me before the game week had started that Newcastle were going to score 9 goals, are you still going to captain / triple captain Isak? The answer would be, of course I would. Are you mad? I think this game week has kind of demonstrated how random football can be, and kind of really does hit hard and puts in perspective how little we as FPL managers have control over what happens, or even when it comes to betting. Because FPL is a form of betting. You're placing faith into players in which you think are going to perform well in a particular match or matches. And we use some form of data to help make our decisions more easier, so that when we go into the particular games and matches and we see the statistics of Newcastle unbeaten in 300 games at home, Crystal Palace, they've lost their last 2 matches away from me. You get the idea with that. You're going to back the obvious outcome. But when it comes to FPL, and you've only got the options of, in this specific case, 3 specific players for a double game week, or 6 if you're going to triple up on the other team as well, and the outcome turns out to be, I don't know. There are some people like Rupert, aka semi-casual, who captain Harvey Barnes, and brilliant, absolutely brilliant decision there. Alex Vollo captaining Shah. There's going to be a few people that captain Jacob Murphy. Us Isak captainers, specifically the triple captainers, I personally think, yes, we got an assist, a goal and an assist, but in 9 goals, I just spare. I just absolutely spare with that. While watching the game, the inside emotions, especially when Eze, that embarrassment, that utter embarrassment of a penalty. How dare you, in the words of Sybil Faulty, how dare you think you can take a penalty like that? Who the fuck do you think you are? Like sack off FPL for a second. I even saw the Saka penalty miss because Ray had messaged me about something, and then I looked on X and I just saw Ray had also posted on X, since when the fuck does Saka ever try and chip a penalty, or whatever it was? I'm thinking, what? And I saw some other X account write, are Saka and Eze trying to have a competition on who can take the worst penalty? And I'm telling you for free, Eze's was the worst penalty. That was a fucking embarrassment. And when your team is 1-0 down, and you've got some very fortuitous penalty given to you, I'm not saying it wasn't a penalty, I just mean that, it's one of those where it was given out of the blue, it was against the run of play, if you want to use football terminologies. And I'm looking at him going, I literally said to my mum, he's missing this, you just know he's going to miss it, you know he's going to miss it. And then when you see the circumstances of how it was saved, you're a cretin. to be completely frank. And from that moment on, I thought, yeah, this game is done and dusted from a Newcastle perspective, especially once they scored the second goal. But from a professionalism, and that is what I want. Got to get an office quote in there. From a professionalism from Eze, who the fuck takes a penalty like that? I guarantee you, in the training ground, he doesn't take penalties like that. And if he does, Glasner should be pulling to one side and go, what do you think you're doing? Just fucking hit the ball as hard as you can, as far to the top right or top left as you can. And all these players that do this form of Congo before they take the penalty. Yes, don't get me wrong, the majority of the time it normally works out. But that's when your name's Cristiano Ronaldo or Bruno Fernandes or Lionel Messi. You know, penalty takers that actually score penalties. I'm not going to profess to watch much football. In fact, there was that video, wasn't there, that Gary put together about what would you watch. You could only choose one. Watch every single football match, Premier League match, to make your FPL decisions. And you can't use anything to do with YouTube or podcasts or FPL review. You either have 10 Premier League games you watch every single minute. You have FPL review or some form of AI-based computer data stats bot to do your team. Or you choose YouTube content, whatever YouTube content you want, i.e. from an FPL perspective. And I was honest, I just went, I choose FPL Call. I just literally choose the content that I watch now, which is FPL Juice, Trigger Lips, and Gary's stuff. And they're just interviews. Because I get enough information from the likes of Trigger Lips and FPL Juice to within reason make some form of informed decision. But the point being is that I don't watch that much football. But since when the fuck does Eze take penalties like that? I'm sure somebody's going to write in the comments, he does it all the time. Fair enough. But when you're 1-0 down, you have the fucking audacity to take a penalty like that. You're an embarrassment. I literally said to my mum, he should be just sub now. Sub him now. And of course, as the goals were flying in and Isak was getting the odd opportunity here or there to potentially score or get in the right position to score, he either fluffed it or he miscontrolled the ball or he slipped. And I'm just there thinking, yeah, this is just not happening. This truly is not happening now. I'll be lucky, or we as Isak captainers will be lucky to get a return. Now, ironically, as Chris Sutton says, he scored the hardest option of all the shots that he had this evening. He scored the hardest one. I don't understand how the fuck he scored that. Yeah, you could argue he's a world-class striker. Wouldn't go that far. He's a very good striker, but tonight he made some really poor decisions. And I think that we as Isak captainers can be aggrieved that we didn't get more than one return tonight. People that went with Crystal Palace double up in defence have been fucked up the arse. Specific, let's get real here, Munoz. I mean, I don't know what specifically how many points he got, but I'm assuming a total of minus, across the two games, I'm assuming a total of -1 after he got that yellow card as well. That's my assumption. But triple captainers that played against the likes of the people that played the assistant managership. The assistant managership has won outright. Yeah, Munoz got -1. The assistant managership won outright. Easily won outright. And looking at my team here, I'm really happy with my Trippier pick. I was very fortuitous with the first assist that he got. I mean, I know he only got one assist, but the Jacobs Murphy's, you know, thunder strike. Bit annoying you got the assist to the assister. Jacob Murphy being that case for the next goal. Henderson 2 points, Trippier 11. He's going to get some bonus points, I believe, maybe ones that's 12. Jacob Murphy's getting 3, so he's going to be on 19. And then Isak just ending up as a triple captain on 33. But anybody that didn't use their triple captaincy on Isak, in my opinion, have won, because he's not missed out on much. In fact, as I'm looking at it here right now, Trippier and Barnes are now on equal points, so I won't be surprised knowing my luck that Trippier get edged out of the bonus. But right now, Trippier's getting 1 point, Shah on 2, and Jacob Murphy on 3. And like I stated, just watching that game, my stomach was just turning. Anytime Isak got the ball, I'm thinking, this is it. This is it. He's doing... Oh, he slipped. Oh, he's put it over the bar. Oh, he's put it wide. And my hand was just crushing the remote control. Just crushing it. Someone's going to write in the comments, you think you've got it bad? I was a fucking muppet for captaining Mateta. Well, I'd argue, why the fuck would you captain Mateta anyway? I know some people, there were some that captained Ismail Sarr as well. Again, if there was anybody going to be captaining this particular game week, it was going to be a Newcastle player. Obviously from an attacking point of view. And like I stated, it was either going to be Jacob Murphy, Isak, or Harvey Barnes. One of those three. And the winner outright was... I'm assuming it was Harvey Barnes. I'm assuming. I don't actually know. But certainly, captaining a Crystal Palace player when they were away at two of the best teams at home in the division, you're completely deluded. Yeah, but Crystal Palace are really good away from home. Well, as Andy said on funny enough, on X. Well, let's see what they're like when they come up against some of the better teams. And surprise, surprise, they've lost 2 games, conceding 10 goals. 10 goals. 10 goals. It is cretinous. So yeah, Harvey Barnes got more. He got basically 1 less goal than Harvey Barnes. Jacob Murphy got 1 less goal. So Harvey Barnes got 2 goals and an assist. 3 goals and an assist across these 2 fixtures. Jacob Murphy got 2 assists and a goal. I mean, I'm ending up on 90 if Trippier gets a bonus point. A whopping 91, 92, 90, 94 points. There are some teams that I've seen in the moderator league, for argument's sake, that have absolutely smashed the shit out of it. Blonde being, surprise, surprise, Blonde being one of them. Getting 108 points on a bench boost. Now, the bench itself was utter shite. 2, 7, 2 and 1. And that's Raya, Sarr, Milenkovic and Robinson. But a main team, differentials being Pickford, Shah, 8 Nuri. That is just fucking unbelievable. And I keep stating this. I don't know what the fuck these people are doing that do so well in these mini leagues. But it's like everything they touch turns to gold. And yet, muppets like me who are doing absolutely shite at this game despite making, here's that word, logical decisions. Utter cack. I mean, I'm looking at here, Firetogs, Eddie Howe got 23 points despite being in hospital and not being at the pitch. So maybe you should give it to Jason Tyndall instead. Oh, can't be saying that, Steve-o. Yeah, Firetog's going to get Marmouche off the bench. Unbelievable. Unbe-fucking-leavable. For Matoma. Jason's had an absolute shitter as well. Although, same points as me. Despite the fact he took a -8. So, alright, he's on 82 points on a bench boost as well. Dan Burn, Vardiol, Mateta and Martinez on his bench. But still, bordering on the same points as me. And then, of course, me and Ray have got this dilemma now of the free hit where, oh, is Watkins going to be starting? I'm not touching that prat Mateta. I have zero interest in Mateta. So, what other strikers are available for Game Week 33 double? Oh, there aren't any. So that kind of decision has been made for us. I'm probably going to be angrily telling Ray I want Eze nowhere near the fucking team now after that pathetic performance. After that gash performance, I don't want him anywhere near the team. An absolute fucking embarrassment. Oh, and I just see that Arsenal are basically through now because it's now 1-1. And as me and Ray discussed on his Saka, as me and Ray discussed on a Patreon podcast, it was like just over an hour regarding our free hit. And the debate was basically around the Aston Villa players. Well, we both agreed that we've got to be doing some form of shielding with our players, i.e. having the likes of Saka, having the likes of Salah in the team. But truth be told, coming like me and Ray both agreed, we're going to have all the information we have by Friday regarding with Crystal Palace. Well, the way Crystal Palace are playing at the moment, they got Bournemouth and Arsenal next. Bournemouth, one of the better teams in the Premier League at the moment, and then Arsenal, who they will be focusing a lot on the Champions League, but as I stated on the Patreon, and as Ray agreed, Arteta will continue a professional job to get that second spot in the Premier League. It will still continue the professional job. The only difference is that he's probably going to be managing his team a lot more because they're going to be taking on PSG in the semi-finals of the Champions League. It's just stated facts. But I think they've got a good enough squad to get through the next several fixtures to end up being second in the Premier League. The games being Ipswich away. Well, Ipswich an absolute sack of shit at home. But how will Arsenal perform after the Champions League? As Ray said, it will probably be 5 or 6 changes against Ipswich. Against Crystal Palace, maybe at this point, getting more closer towards a full strength. Then where does the Champions League fit in? Around Bournemouth, Liverpool, Newcastle. So there's going to be a lot of squad rotation, but going in to the free hit team, we have to be a shield. So Raya and Saliba are the logical picks for guaranteed minutes, and then Saka as that shield. Rodgers is guaranteed to start both games for Aston Villa. Ray was really bullish on Eze, but now I'm just going to be getting rid of the arsehole, to be honest with you. I'll be getting rid of him. And it will be either Asensio or Rashford. But as me and Ray were saying on the voice messaging, the truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter which one we pick. We know they're not going to get the full 180 minutes. It's a case of put your hand in a pot, pick one out of the two, and then whoever you pick, you pick. I was staunch on Asensio, but it would appear that Asensio is the one with the lesser minutes. It's a shame neither of them are strikers, because I would just probably pick one of them over Watkins, or even go a 3-4-3, sack off Eze, and have Watkins with Rashford/Asensio. Unfortunately, there's just so many bloody midfield options at the moment. But pretty much that team up on screen in Reyes, Saliba, Vardy, or Munoz, Saka, Rodgers, Eze, Salah, De Bruyne, Marmoush and Watkins is going to be the team. Apart from it's going to be either Rashford or Asensio. But by Friday I probably would have calmed down. I'll listen to Ray's opinions about Eze and then see if we come to a conclusion of actually, Steve-o, do you know what? He is a sack of shit. Piss off out the team. Let's go with that punt on Rashford/Asensio. As I stated, all these teams, Aston Villa, Newcastle, they've all got something to play for. And Unai Emery is managing his squad excellently. Remember, they did beat PSG. I know they were knocked out, but they did beat PSG at home because their home record is outstanding. That game against Newcastle, I think it's going to be quite a high-scoring game, like a 2-2, a 3-3, a 3-2 either way, something like that. Nottingham Forest, I think, potentially could have blown it now, because they just haven't got the squad big enough to cope with the demands of Premier League/FA Cup. Newcastle are plodding along. Man City, Chelsea, well, depends what Chelsea team decide to turn up in their matches, but they're absolutely useless. May have only lost one in the last 6, but there's a couple of draws in there. One of them being against Ipswich. Well, that's 2 points dropped. That's 2 points dropped. Then, of course, Aston Villa are doing what they need to do. But either way, going into this next double game week in 33, for a lot of us, I know they're doing bench boost, and a lot of people are going with the likes of on their single game weeks with West Ham. They're at home to Southampton. So a few people with Bowen and Areola, Wan-Bissaka. There's the Liverpool guys against Leicester, the likes of Salah, obviously, Diaz, Bradley. And then basically everybody's loaded up on either Man City, Aston Villa, Arsenal, Crystal Palace. And I think my free hit team pretty much represents what most people have as double game week players. Unfortunately, for me and Ray, it's a case of, well, which Aston Villa player do we really want to punt on out of Rashford and Asensio? Yeah, just like I state, I'm just genuinely gutted about Newcastle coming away with 9 goals and Isak getting just a goal and an assist. Again, I reiterate this point. There are people that are in a much worse position than me. I'm talking about me. They can have their own platforms to express themselves, but as you know, because you know it's true, they don't express themselves because they're scared to express themselves. They're too scared. They just use that defensive mechanism. A bit like people like Bonnie Bloom when they go, I'm just happy. I just like people making people happy. Oh, shut the fuck up. Same as Lily Phillips. I just enjoy it. It's just these defensive mechanisms. Same in FPL. We just move on. But can we have your opinion on, why you captained Mateta or Sarr? Or what you think, what went through your mind not captaining Isak? Nah. Now we just move on to double game week 33 now. And people watch this stuff. But yeah, I'm just, like I say, I'm just frustrated coming out of that, and it just feels like this season now after that is just filtering out, and yeah, kind of sucks. See you later.